morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Hot Pink Table Talk on Hot Pink Pride Media. I am Evangelist Cherie Stern, and today I have a very special guest with me, Betty Neal. Okay, the legendary. Oh, I love your little kitty. Oh my goodness! Now here I was thinking you this big, ferocious, mean thing, and you got a little kitty sitting on your lap. I never thought that. Good morning, Betty. How are you?
Morning, good morning. Thank you for having me. This is Scout.
Uh,
Scout. She just laughed, so here we are.
what's her name?
Scout.
Scout. Oh my God, she's
I have
beautiful.
Scout and Atticus from the names from To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, look at you being all literal. Okay, I know that's right. That's the thing about it, Betty. I want to talk about this big write-up for you in Dallas Voice, but I've been trying to get you on for a while, and I do appreciate you accepting the invitation so that you can come and shoot the breeze with me. Like I said, I have questions, okay? But
Try to the best of my ability.
So you are celebrating a very special birthday this year. Tell us about it.
I'll be 67 on March 5th.
My gosh. Okay, Pisces. That's the day after my mother's birthday. So I know you're good people. You have a long history in this community and really just growing, all over Texas and the world, really. And that's what I wanted to talk about. We can't go without mentioning, okay, your big event that is coming up. Well, one of them, you have big events all the time, right?
I do two big events a year. My birthday, and then I do wet. And now we're starting next year. We'll be doing wet at sea, a cruise.
Oh my goodness.
Wet too. Yeah.
I love to
It's
cruise. You might have me on that one, honey.
going to be in May of 2025.
Wow. Well, you
I,
keep
you're
us,
the first person I told.
huh?
You're the first person I gave the information to.
Look at me. Oh my God, a notable first right here. You heard it first right here on Hot Pink Pride Media. Hot Pink Table Talk. Wet is getting wet. I love to cruise. I'll cruise at least twice a year if I can. So I'm definitely going to add that one. Hopefully you'll be able to come back and tell us about it and get the word out so we can get that party
Yeah,
started.
yeah. I'm excited about it. I posted a teaser about it, and I got 1,500 impressions on that.
Oh my gosh.
So if I can get like 50 people, I'll be happy.
That is quite a trip. That is quite a trip. So we're talking right now. We're gonna give a quick moment to the Black Party. Tell us about the Black Party for this year's birthday celebration.
Every year, me and my team, and I do have a team of people that are always with me and ride with me on everything that I do. If I kill a cat in the middle of this interview, don't say nothing. Don't worry. Don't report me to the SPCA because she's doing the most right now. And every year we try to come up with a color theme, and it's not mandatory. We just got to have something for decor. So we went with the Black Party. It's Black History Month.
Right.
It'll be over by then, but we celebrate 365. It's all good. So the color theme is just a color for decor, and most people in attendance will have on black. It has no other connotation. It's just like
Right. Well, 'tis the season. It's not Easter yet, so we can't have a white party, right? So we have to go with fashion.
we can have whatever we want. We choose not to.
Right. Okay. So this is the Black Party. Look, this is happening at one of our favorite places out here in Dallas. It's Sue Ellen's, and that's this Saturday, March 2nd, right?
Yeah, and that's my host and MC Shamar Gassan, one of the greatest male entertainers, and from the ballroom scene as well.
Oh my gosh. So how big is the ballroom scene in Dallas? Because I've really never heard of it being, out here like that.
It's big. I would say Shamar would be the biggest person in Dallas on ballroom scene. There are other people, and he's also mentoring people to carry that legacy on. He probably will do something this year, either around Black Pride in September. He's in talks with people right now to put another ball on. He just wants to make sure that he doesn't step on toes of people that he's mentoring and give them an opportunity to do it. And then every Wednesday at Marty's Live, they have the Kiki Ball every Wednesday where they have a vote competition for prizes and stuff like that. It's not major scale like they did Winter Ball in New York last week, which was phenomenal. Um, but it is a ball, and
Okay.
it's mostly the Kiki balls are mostly the younger generation.
Hmm.
They come out and they get after it. I mean, a lot of those people that do the balls at Marty's, they don't really have um, any major platforms.
Hmm.
And so the way they express their gayness and their dancing abilities is through the Kiki Balls on Wednesday night at Marty's, and it gets packed. The only reason I don't really go to that because that crap starts at midnight. It's not over till like 3 in the morning, and
Okay.
I'm about to get up for the next day at 3 in the morning. So, but I do support that venue, and I support Shamar and all the teams and all the Kiki people in Dallas. It's growing. It's growing.
Well, you know what, Betty, that's been your legacy out here is the support that you give to everyone really in the community. You're known, at least for the beginning, for the Black lesbian scene, but your influence has grown, so much. And that's really, what the Dallas Voice article was about, as well as, what I wanted to talk with you about, really your efforts and your work to grow the community, whether it's spiritually, politically, and have a vehicle, for us to be fully engaged as, as a community within a community. So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Let's do it. Yeah. Excuse me.
No,
Catch that.
you're fine.
I'm sorry. I just started out in the club business. I came here from Arkansas. I was already a DJ in Arkansas at a gay bar called RD's Disco. I think I started there when I was 19 or so. And then two friends of mine moved here and they said, hey, you guys ought to move. Me and my lover packed up and we moved here and we both got jobs at a gay bar called Sassy's. And I
Okay.
started to form friendships then. Because where I come from in Arkansas, like it was only like 3 black gay people in my hometown of Fayetteville.
Hmm.
My best friend Judy and maybe a guy or two, undercover more than anything. But I've started to meet a lot of black gay people, and I didn't really know that community existed in that magnitude. That
Right.
and even in 1980, that would be in 1980, it wasn't a big black gay community. It was more underground. Like we had a ratchet club in North Dallas called the Crib, and my first step into black drag on a big scale would be at the Crib, where I went there with some friends, and it was packed with all these fantastic black drag queens. Most
Yeah.
of them have passed away from the AIDS crisis.
Right.
I'm still around as well, but and that just captivated me so at the talent and the segregation from the white gay community in Dallas.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it was where I felt like it was home. It was very comfortable for if you were black and gay. It was just a comfortable spot. It was a vibe, and it lasted quite a while. And so that's when I really started getting into the black community. My
Hmm.
work started in the white community, though, in
Right.
the white gay community, because they all owned the clubs, they all owned all the gay businesses, they owned all the restaurants, they owned everything.
Hmm.
With very, very few people of color um, employed in those spaces.
Right.
I would say I was maybe one of 3 blacks, probably throughout the entire '80s
Hmm.
in the black gay bar scene in Dallas. So it just grew from that. Uh, Started with just partying, having a space where we could play our own music, uh, wear our fashion and clothes. My cat's going crazy. She just climbed up the wall. Scout, come on. Uh, and be our authentic selves
Right.
without any prejudices. And the white clubs was not having no part of that.
Hmm.
No black music, no 2 IDs to get in, like that. So that's where the first fight started. When
Hmm.
My friends would tell me, "Hey, we can't get in this." I'm not gonna give names. I don't care. I'll give names. We can't get
It's
in.
okay, yeah.
I don't. We can't get into the village station because they're asking us for two IDs. My advice then
Mhm.
was, as it is now, whatever they ask you for, present that to them. So don't deny them that the pleasure of not letting you in. If they want two IDs, go home, get your social security card, get something else that you can bring,
Mhm.
whatever you got to do, so that you can still enter into these facilities. And so it just started like that. And I didn't have those prejudices myself in the Dallas community. I never got asked for extra ID. I never even got asked for ID. Basically, I just always was allowed in. So it took me a minute to see what my friends saw
Mhm.
that was happening to them, but it really wasn't happening to me. So that's kind of how that went, and just started to grow and work and have those courageous conversations with those owners and employees of those bars that really weren't so black friendly.
Right. I wanted to pull out a quote from the article on the Dallas Voice where you said we need to integrate minorities into a space where they feel comfortable, and being on these boards is the start of that. So that's what I wanted to segue into, because as far as being able to have influence and respect in the community, is that one of the things that we need to be doing to have the respect that we're looking for, and the visibility?
It's just like the world. It's like politics on a national level, from president to um, gay bars. In order to influence change, you have to be in the decision making process. Not
Absolutely.
in those rooms where they make those decisions, then you don't get a say, and your what you want from that does not happen. You have to
Right.
have a voice at the table, a seat at the table. People always think that, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, throwing
No,
bench makes you an activist, makes you an advocate, but that's just the smallest part of what I do.
absolutely.
Part of
And oh,
that's
go
the
ahead, please.
you got to go to city council. You got to understand laws. You got to know what's going on in Austin with drag queens and reading to kids in libraries in drag or just dressing in drag. They tried to block us from being in drag on the parade last year.
Right.
The state of Texas, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
tried to make it so strict that the rules would be that we would get fined as the parade board, and we would get fined as the parade steering committee, and we would get fined as the producers of the parade itself. But we have people fighting in Austin for to change those laws, and we survived last year. But this year, as the political climate is going to be really high because of the presidential election,
Right.
the fight continues. So I encourage people to vote. That's my main thing. Vote.
Well, I
You
wanted to talk about that. I wasn't able to locate the flyer, but you are doing a voting. Is it a voter registration
voter
event, or
registration.
just get out the vote?
Yeah, for the November election, we're going to have it probably in all the gay bars in Dallas where you can register to vote. And I mean, most of my friends at my age in the 60s and up, late
Mhm.
50s and up, are all registered voters, and we all vote. We always have.
Absolutely.
But that's the only way you see change. You
Hmm.
can complain about things that you're uncomfortable with if you don't do anything to make yourself have access to comfortability. You just can't.
Absolutely.
I can complain all I want to until I do something, you know, to
Hmm.
that's why I told that story about me DJing in a club on it was on Oak Lawn back then. This white lady friend of mine, she owned the club. She's real cool. So a friend of mine, Linda, was DJing, and she said, "Hey, I'm taking a break. Will you take over?" So I took over, and the owner came and said, "Hey, I'm going home and change. I'll be back. Don't play any of that hip hop stuff." It's like, "Okay, girl, we got you. We're not gonna play it." She walked out the door, put it on. Salt and Pepper was the song, and the dance floor went crazy. The girls went crazy. I say it's about 20 black lesbians with maybe 150 white, 100 white.
Hmm.
They loved it. They danced, but she came back in because she forgot something. and she came to DJ booth. I played with albums. It wasn't digital back then. We had albums that we had to mix and play and count beats per minute. Took the record off the turntable and flung it. But the crowd turned on her own crowd, her white crowd, as well as the few blacks that were in there, were like, play it, play it, play it, play it. And so that was kind of a turning point because you did not hear our music in gay bars in Dallas, Texas.
Right.
And now you can't walk in a bar with almost all black music, you know what I mean? Because hip hop changed the game and integrated the white crowd into our world.
Right.
I tell this story, and I don't mean to sound racist. I keep saying I don't mean to, but I might come off as racist. When I grew up, this is going to sound very racist. White people couldn't dance. They didn't have rhythm. They just be all over the place. You know what I mean? And now they back up Janet Jackson. They're dancers. They're stars. They create music on the R&B charts. You know what I mean? So
right.
It evolved through hip hop music because it crossed all genres. So that, and I think now it might be a little bit degrading and violent in some aspects to women and stuff, but women are leading the hip hop charts right now, and I'm for
right.
of color getting a check. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to twerk to get a check, and you're getting a big check. I support you.
Right.
I just support people of color.
Well, Betty, having your footprint in both the club scene and the community scene, do you find that that's pretty much where it starts, where the community starts in that? Because I'm going to tell you something. I meant to tell you this story. See, I heard a whole lot about you, Betty, and I wanted to see if it was true. Okay. You do some remarkable things, and people want to hear about it, Betty. Okay. But a friend of mine told me and this was years ago, and I'm going to put about 30 years, okay, on it. How, and she'll remain nameless, she was in the club because you also mentioned some aspects of spirituality in your interview, and where you would counsel people and talk to people. They would be in the middle of issues with their relationship, and you would be the, I wouldn't say the go-between, but the person that people came to. And she actually said that you told her about her situation and told her, baby, that ain't gonna work as far as what the person was at. That's all I'm gonna say. But it is those kinds of things that, when the club kids come in, or even people who don't have any other form of community, to come into the club and, actually be able to find somebody there that's, that they can talk to.
It's like a safe space, kind of, sort of, for people, because, like I said, they can be themselves. A lot of these people, these young kids right now, will spend everything they got on something to wear to the club, and then sleep on the bus till the sun comes up. They've been kicked out of their homes or their parents. And I hate to say it, black households can be the most strict on being homosexual.
Right.
Yet here they are. They bring up church and God. But if I got this right, this is the way I was raised. This is what I took from the way I was raised. God's vision is be kind, be loving, be giving, and be helpful. And that's it. That's it. So anything else that happens to you, it's a problem, not because of you, because of the other person, more than likely. So it would be, I told a friend the other day, he told me he's a young guy, I think he's 18, he's going to come out to his parents. This is a rich white friend of mine.
Yeah.
I said, well, when you come out, what's going to happen? Oh, they're going to probably disown me and kick me out. I said, then just don't tell them. Don't tell them yet, because you don't have a plan. You're going to be cut off from a very rich family. You're going to be homeless, and you don't have a backup plan. So you got to think, how can I do this? I said, just continue to follow the rules under their house that you live in, and then educate yourself on ways to explain to your maybe your mother's easier than talking to your father, and then partner with your mother to speak to your father. This fool goes home and says, I'm gay. And they kicked him out. And he
Right.
crying. And I said, I asked you not to do it that way. I knew that was what was going to happen because he didn't
Right.
have a plan. He didn't educate himself on the repercussions of his presentation to his family.
That's so important. I know that you do more work with some of the other organizations, like Abounding
Uh,
Prosperity,
that's my,
um, some of the other charities, and community focus groups. That type of advice is so critical and so crucial for people to be able to come somewhere in the community and ask, how do I approach this with my family? How can I safely come out? And having that guidance will actually, in my opinion, help to keep the family itself together, because maybe the parents need counseling, you
they
know.
do.
Hmm.
Because people always, I have so many discussions or debates on social media with people about homosexuality.
Right.
And they say, oh, it's an abomination. I said, well, you could take the Bible apart, every chapter, and there's something in there that's a sin to the people that wrote the Bible. And
Right.
many, many, many different versions. There's so many different versions of the Old Testament and stuff like that. You, and that's why the old adage, let he who is out without sin throw the first
Right.
stone. You can't pick homosexuality out of the Bible and say that's an abomination when it's everything from food we eat to working on Saturday to eat. There's so many things, the clothes we wear, the material they're made of, everything. There's so many things in the Bible. And I have a little issue with the Bible. I don't have an issue with God or
Hmm.
Jesus. Issue with the Bible because once again, it's written so many different versions, so many different times by so many different men.
Right.
There's no female Bible. There's no voice of females. It was always more of a non-dominant role, just in the backdrop, or for children, or this or that. So, I take what I said earlier: be kind, be loving, be helpful, be
Right.
giving. That's what I get from the entire Bible.
Right.
I think if you do those things, you don't have to worry about other things. You can't say, I'm gay, I'm going to go to hell. You got
Mhm.
Jeffrey Dahmer ate people. If he wrote, if he repented, he's in heaven right now. To me, if he
Yes.
repented afterwards while he was in prison, now he's dead. They killed him in prison. But I'm saying, so you're telling me because he was straight or whatever, and he ate people, he can still go to heaven. But because I'm gay and I didn't harm anybody, I have to go to hell. It doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Right.
vibe. It has
Right.
a different version. I'm sorry, my phone's blowing up. I'm trying to just.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because that was one of my next questions about the type of advice that you would give young people who are just kind of starting out, either coming out or wanting to come out as LGBTQ activists or influencers. And I mean, it's in ministry itself, one thing that I found, because there's so, you would think that in this day of time that it would be different, but there's still things going on like conversion therapy. So is there something that you know of, or a place that you can recommend the parents of LGBTQ children,
Well,
not
there's a
14, of course we've got the Trevor Project, but for those parents to come and be educated?
glad.
Okay.
Glad there's other organizations. There's resource centers in every metropolitan city where it's everything advocacy for gay people, but friends and family are welcome because I have other friends who have had those conversations with their family after they thought about it methodically, educated themselves about ways to do it, figured out why their parents were so against it. And a lot of times the parents have told me they were against their child being homosexual out of fear of harm for their children.
Right.
They were homophobic because they know it's a hard knock life out here in the gay world, especially in this climate that we're in with
Yes.
all the MAGA people and all the neo-Nazi crazy people that are out here. So it works only through education.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what harm, and they say, "Oh, you can't have kids if you marry two guys marry." Yeah, they can. They can adopt. They can get a surrogate. There's that does throw that out the window because that's not true.
Right.
Now, the only thing that might be true is it could be dangerous to you because of all the hate and homophobia in the world. So that part is true. But have those conversations with senior gay people, see how they did it, what worked, what didn't work, and then you come to some kind of conclusion for yourself, how you can address it. You might need a sponsor, you know.
Well, that you mentioned senior gay people. That was actually my next going into that because, as our population ages, there are more and more of us out here that are, of course, over 50, over 60, who are still viable in the community, who, want something to do, including the parties, but also something to help leave our own legacy in the community and to pull those up, from the fringes, So tell me about the senior project that you're involved in.
I'm just learning more. My good friend Portia Cantrell, she's a retired nurse and her wife is a nurse, and they reached out to me some years ago. She tells me now, I've been trying to reach out to you for so long. I can't believe we're friends now. We go to breakfast and we hang out. We go to city council meetings, and I support all her efforts. Hypothetically, no, this is not hypothetical. This is fact. As the gay population of my genre get older and we reach 70 and 75 and 80, now what when we can't take care of ourselves because
Yes.
you'd be uncomfortable in a regular assisted living house, maybe. So why don't we have gay assisted living facilities? Why don't we have gay communities for 55 and up? Why don't we have those things? And that's what Portia is bringing to the city of Dallas right now, having those conversations, trying to get funding for those facilities, because we're here and we still got to have somewhere to go. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's that. And there are other communities, and that's one of the things when I work with Black Tie Dallas, they fund so many organizations. They run the gamut on a variety of organizations that they fund through the Black Tie Dinner itself, from auctions and the dinner and donations and stuff like that. They give to hundreds of people across the Metroplex to provide funding so those things can transpire.
Right. So, and like I was saying, a lot of people come to me, and when they come from other cities and other states, the first thing that they ask about is how to get involved. Things like with community events, organizations, how to become more of a part of the community, because we need everyone. I mean, anybody that can, we need you to be a part of the community and to provide service. So what's the first place that you would tell someone to start if they wanted to get, involved?
It's always, I would start with the pride parades in the city that you're in, because it's a year-long process that we do. And within that committee of board members and steering committee members, which is how I started as a steering committee member in the 80s. It wasn't
Okay.
involved, it was just like volunteers, basically what they call us back then, you know.
Right.
And then you get to meet people in the higher positions that organize. And throughout the year, there are events that lead up to the parade. So the parade encompasses everybody: straight, gay, black, white, every race, Asian, black, Hispanic, whatever. It doesn't matter. It encompasses everybody. And so you have an opportunity then by giving service to learn how the wheels work. You learn about funding, you learn about sponsorships, you learn about history, you know, it'd be
Yeah.
Stonewall all the way up. So get involved in community gay organizations, the Resource Center. Um, I told this story in the Voice article. I like to go out a lot because I've always been in the nightclub business. I grew up in a bootleg gambling house in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I've always, my grandfather was like an OG. He was double amputee, but he was an old gangster. And my
Mm.
grand made and Christian. So, I grew up in this house. So, but I'm saying go to a bar or a restaurant by yourself if you're single, or take your spouse and sit at the bar, and whoever's to your left or your right, strike up a conversation. Strike up a conversation. You're going to be surprised at how much we have in common as not. But if we don't have those conversations, there'll always be a wall. So you
Right.
to open up to a broader group audience in order to move up. You can't just be stuck on one thing and go that way. Black
You're
lives.
absolutely right.
You have to open up and be acceptable to change. I, you don't know. I went through the drug world. I went in the 70s and 80s. I went through drinking heavily. I mean, I still drink. I'm gonna always drink. uh, and you have to have a support team and a will within yourselves to grow and be and change and be better and figure out what your purpose is. And the only way you do that is by having conversations like we're having right now, you and I.
Right. I mean, definitely it needs to be conversation, in the community, because we do face some really big challenges out here. One thing, eh, uh, like with the drag community, I know that one person that's really, really fighting for the rights, and her name escapes me. I should have pulled it up, but it's actually a straight woman who is a drag queen, and she goes and does the story time for the children. So, but it's not the her itself, it's the element of drag that people are fighting so hard
Let,
against,
let, let me let
so
me
this
say
is all of our fights.
let me say this about that part right there.
Mhm.
I don't know of, and this is going to kind of sound, I don't know of any of my drag queen friends that have ever harmed a child.
Right.
That's predominantly priests and stuff like that, or twisted,
Come
strict,
on now, go on and say it.
twisted, right? You punish one community. This guy wants to wear a dress. I don't care if he wears a dress. Who?
Mhm.
What? Care? What is it going to do to you? What is it going to do to you? And they say, "Oh, he's too young to know." No, I've always known I was gay. Always.
Right.
I didn't know.
What to call it, but you
Yeah,
knew what it
yeah.
was, right?
I had, I had sex with girls in junior high,
Okay.
popular girls, cheerleaders, you name it. Uh,
Spill
but
the tea.
it
We're not here for that. Go.
tramp, 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 tramp. But to have that kind of hate, it's just like Mississippi with black people, and you hate us so much and you don't even know why you hate us. Oh, and we watched last night. My friends came over. Some friends of mine came over. Three guys. Nate, 17, and his name's 17, and Dan. We call him 17 and Daniel. They brought me a big bottle of a Don Julio and said, "This is yesterday afternoon. Said, it's your birthday. We coming to turn up." I was like, "Oh, here we go. It's starting." But you know what we did? So we had some shots, and Daniel suggested that we watch this old episode of Oprah when she went to Mississippi,
Okay.
and all the, oh my God, how this one guy was like, "There's niggers, and then there's blacks," and she said, "Explain that to me."
Mm.
Well, there's blacks that don't want to move to Mississippi. Those are the good ones. Niggers are the ones that come down here and they want to live by us and move into our neighborhoods and date our kids. I'm waiting for a problem here. I don't see a problem. And Oprah
Mhm.
had a wherewithal way back then to go down there in a hostile climate. You got to watch that. Pull that video up on YouTube of Oprah
I
and
will.
white supremacists.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen
I
it.
seen it last night, rewatching it at this age and the mentality of where I'm at in life. It's
Yes.
so eye opening to me. And everybody in the audience, they had Jane Elliott on there. You know who Jane Elliott is, the white lady who's very knowledgeable about race and
Right.
everything. Look her up. It's just like there's no reason why you don't like us.
Yeah.
Okay, my brothers and I grew up in the same house. The brother right above me, rest in peace, we grew up with the same parents, mom, dad, grandparents, both sets, all that. He stayed in trouble. He stayed in jail. That's a choice he made. Don't get mad at me because he's crazy. Rest in peace, James Earl. I'm just saying, you
Right.
can't judge people in the group. You got to get out of that grouping people together for,
Yes.
for hate. Why don't you group us together for love as one human race?
Right.
You know, we've been colored, Negro, black, African American. I don't know what we are now. Black or African. I don't even know what we are now.
Right.
When it puts race, I just put question mark.
Exactly.
Hell, I don't know. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Why does
Yep,
that
there's
matter?
so many
Why does that matter? You know, and then you just have white or Caucasian.
at
That's
this point. Yeah.
the American Indians were the first settlers of this United States of ours. Yet the elder white men in this MAGA climate are claiming we want to take our country back. This is not your country.
It's a little scary. I was on the road the other day and saw some symbolisms that was kind of, questionable. We got to get ready. And the thing about it is that we definitely don't want to be out here being victims. So, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges that is facing the LGBT community specifically that we need to really focus on to not only establish ourselves like as a voting force, you know, but also as a catalyst for change?
I would continue with voting. That's the most important thing to me we can do to make changes. Where you make sure you know who is your city council member. Do you know what district you're in? A lot of people don't even know what district they're in.
And what they
They
stand
don't know
for.
who their own city council member is. They don't know who the mayor, the city manager. They don't know the structure of council from mayor to mayor pro tem, city council members, and each committee they serve on. Then
Right.
you have to protect yourself physically
Yeah.
from HIV, monkeypox, those things that I
Well,
fought,
healthcare.
fought for in the 80s and 90s. And now that's why I love Abounding Prosperity. They've taken that torch and ran with it like crazy. These young kids had the mentality to think that, oh, you can just get a shot. You can take pills now. It is still a death sentence.
Yeah.
And if you don't have insurance and you don't have the right medical care, you will die if you don't get that help. So you got to educate yourselves and you got to call some of these organizations. If you even call the county health department,
Hmm.
you got to have these conversations. You got to protect yourself. You've got to get out there and vote. You've got to learn what politics affect you.
Yes.
What's going to affect your life? You know, they're going to say, uh, we don't want any gay bars. They've already tried to shut us down. We used to have after hours, and some clubs are grandfathered, but most clubs shut down at 2, which I'm okay with that. My excessive partying days are behind me. You know, I
Right.
turn up, but about 11:30, 12, I'm ready to go. It's going to be a struggle for me on Saturday. I've already told my friends, don't let me drink but a couple of beers prior to midnight because I'm not driving, so I'll be okay. But I have to be focused and able to enjoy the show and the entertainers and meet with my friends and stuff like that. Educate yourself on events in the city. Talk to someone older than you. Like give your somebody 20 years older. If you're 22, 23, 24, excuse me, talk to a 40-year-old, 45, 50-year-old person. If you can go higher, talk to them because those experiences that we went through and experienced, they're going through now. And you know how you can't tell your kids, I don't have any kids, but I'll use this analogy. When I was growing up, My grandmother was a maid, and my grandfather fished Monday through Thursday, and then on the weekends we bootleg. My grandmother gets ready to go to work, and
Sounds fun.
my grandfather drops her off, and she tells me, "You have a softball game tonight. Don't go over to the Boys and Girls Club and go swimming because you'll be too tired." Yes, ma'am. I won't. Yes, ma'am. As soon as she went to work, here come my friends on their bikes. We get on the bikes and we're over to the Girls and Boys Club swimming. Well, that pool blew up. Not kapam like that, but the chlorine gas tank leaked pool chlorine into the pool. I rescued about 4 kids before I blacked out, and I
Oh
woke up
my
in the hospital
gosh.
for about 2 weeks. But and the Red Cross gave me this award. It was on TV and everything. I was maybe 14, 14. I was going into this. I just got out of the 7th grade, so I was going into the 8th grade. So when your parents, and I tell this to people, my grandmother told me not to go swimming. She told me I would be tired for my softball game. I ended up in the hospital, so I missed the game anyway. I missed the rest of the summer of softball.
Oh wow.
A lot of times, advice you get from your parents is usually right, but you always have that rebellion thing. Think about, if you're not going to do it when you're in your teens or 20s, you're not going to go with it. You're going to do the opposite more than likely. But my grandparents never told me anything to do or not do that was wrong. Not one thing. Zero. I didn't do what they said all the time, you know, and I
Yeah.
wish I had her because I would have saved myself a lot of butt whoopings. You know what I mean?
Okay. A
Talk
hard head. You know what
about
they say about a hard head.
find family members, find other relatives that you can team up with to support you when you have those conversations, and respect your house you live in. If the rules are this, don't get in drag and come in my house, and go to your friend's house and get in drag. Don't break the rules to try to make a point unless you have a backup plan.
Right.
You got to have a backup plan, and you got to just educate yourself. It's easier now than it ever was. I'm sitting in my podcast room, and this is also my trophy room. And every wall here, trophies and plaques and awards. Then I see a picture of my family. Uh, and when I show this picture, this is one of the. I'm going to get up for a second.
Go
Don't leave.
ahead.
Show you this. I'm going to take it off the wall and show you. People always, and this is before my mother died. She left me a series of photos in an envelope and told me to take them home. And I don't even know if you can see these people.
I'm fixing to make my stuff full screen so I can see.
I want you to see. It looks like Bonnie and Clyde to me.
Oh, that's nice. So these are your look. Are these your ancestors?
Yeah, generation. That would be in the 1800s.
Yes. Well, it's always, I'm a big proponent of knowing where you came from and knowing
Well,
your
these
ancestors.
photos that my mother, she said that I was at the hospital with her, and I knew she had a few days to live, and she said, "Go to my place, take a shower, clean up, and then come back. You've been here for 3 days. Just go." And she said, "And there's an envelope under my bed. I want you to get it, put it in your suitcase, and don't open it until you get back to Dallas. Don't open it." Took the shower, got something to eat, and I got the envelope and put it in my suitcase. And I didn't open it until I got back to Dallas. And all these photos, maybe 40 photos, and on the back of them tells the history of my family from the white side, from my mother's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's historical, and people come in my hallway down the hall, and it's like, "Who are these white people?" And I was like, "Well, it's a long story. It's a long
Right.
story."
We all have our
Every
history. We're made from, so many different sacrifices in our lives.
if
So,
you
I
think
mean,
about
just to know.
if you think about plantation days and slavery, the I hate talking about that. The master uh, preferred to sleep with the slave.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's
products of
what our country was built on, actually.
exactly what I tell people. So don't hate me because I'm black, or and people always say, "What race are you?" I am black. I'm black. I've been black since I was born. I'm gonna die black. Okay.
Mhm.
Period. Period. There's a smorgasbord of blood in my body, as in yours and everybody's. Everybody's. Presidents have fathers
Yes.
black. You know what I mean? So for to have that much hate in the world and not understand it,
Mm-hmm.
problem is
Yeah.
you hate black people because you think we're lazy and we steal and we're going to rob you. Nobody I know is going to rob you. Nobody I know is going to go in your house and steal stuff. There's somebody white that might come in my, well, I go by vibes, so you can't even come in here.
Right.
If I'm not feeling you, if somebody says, can I bring my friend? I was like, tell me about your friend. And I'm like, I don't think that person should come here. Or I say, yeah, sure, bring them. But I go by vibes and gut. Don't let society dictate to you who's right and who's wrong
Right.
when it comes to life, opportunities, jobs.
So, what do you think about people who feel like those ideas are outdated or antiquated, and there's so much equality and in the world, and everybody,
I get that. That's a good talking point.
yeah,
You have the same opportunity as we do. You can do it. No, that's not true though.
yeah,
If that was true, they wouldn't put race on any application you do.
you're absolutely right. They're trying to keep track. That's another way to keep track of who's who and what's what.
Yeah, we got 10 blacks. Um, Even at Walmart as a salaried manager, and I just left Walmart a little bit over a year ago, and it was a mutual choice for me to leave Walmart, not Walmart Corporation. My direct supervisor, we didn't see eye to eye because he was one of those,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not here for it.
Right.
Let you know. And I knew I was going to be 66, so I was like, I don't need this job anymore. I mean, I really did because I made a shitload of money at Walmart, but as a salary man. But
Right.
I can't let you try to degrade me or let you think that I don't know what I'm talking about or I don't understand the processes or I don't understand the lingo. That's not going to happen. I'm going to make sure that the world knows, people that can hear my voice know that I understand the assignment, no matter
Yeah.
what time it is. No matter.
Right. Okay. That's what's up, Miss Betty. Okay. Well, we're going to run this one more time about this black party. And, you feel free to be my guest at any time. I love dialoguing. I love being able to at least talk about it. People have, and probably you too, saying that we need platforms to where we can discuss our ideas so that people can know that there is a voice of reason, some direction, some discipline out here. So I just really
and
appreciate
still
you.
and still have some fun.
And still have fun. Well, we love to have fun. That's the stuff we get in trouble about, honey, when people start questioning us as leaders. But it's okay.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I know it's been a long time coming. When you
Yeah.
said, let's set a date, let's do it, I told myself, and I told everybody, I got people beeping and texting me right now. What are you
Yeah.
doing? Where you at? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not going to respond until I get off this call completely. Join
Absolutely.
on Tuesday on the sofa with Betty and Bowlegs, where we talk about stuff like this, and
Yeah.
we'll have you on soon. I'll bring you
I
on.
would love to. I love talking to Bow Legs. That's my niece. She's
That's
been
fine.
on the show a couple of times. I appreciate both of you and the community at large for supporting Hot Pink Pride Media as we grow and try to become a source of community and a source of reasoning and just another voice out here crying in the wilderness. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betty. And thank you all for watching us. But Betty, I did send you the link. So if you could share that on your page so everyone can watch the replay. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I will see you the next time the Lord say so.
Saturday at Wellens.
Okay, Saturday at Sue Allen's for
Black.
Betty's Black Party, the Black Party.
Thank you
All
so much.
right.
Hot Pink Tabletop. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, y'all.